Hey, it's your friend Choice CJ here, and I'm coming to you guys today with my team builder for Week 7 of the PMC, Season number 2. We are going up against our good friend DPad Gam3r, coach of the Orlando City Serperiors, and of course, we are the Baltimore Oriolus. I am your coach, Choice CJ. Let's go ahead and take a peek at DPad's team. He has Mega Lopunny, Jirachi, Manaphy, Fletchender, Florges, Umbreon, Rotom Heat, Tyrantrum, Weezing, Mismagius, and Sandslash. So while DPad definitely has a well-rounded team, it's definitely eye-popping to look at those first three Pokemon, Manaphy, Jirachi, and Mega Lopunny, of course. They are just so fantastic individually, and it just seems like a really daunting task to try and take on all of them all at the same time. Especially because they all have a variety of things that they do well against. Like for example, Manaphy is like a balance and stall killer, especially if it has like a Rain Dance set, and Lopunny just eats offense for breakfast. And whereas Manaphy's kind of weak against offense, and Lopunny is maybe a little bit weak against like balance. So the fact that they can defeat playstyles, like each other's playstyles, makes them like really good partners. I would think the same thing like if you paired Manaphy with Talonflame, or if you paired Lopunny with Kyurem Black. Like, it's just such a good complement to one another. And then Jirachi is just good against all sorts of types of playstyles. Like you can really I think Jirachi is like a better Mew, if you ask me. Like I think Mew is I don't know if I'd necessarily call it overrated anymore. My opinion on it has changed a little. I still think Jirachi is better at being the Swiss Army knife than Mew is. The only thing it's lacking is reliable recovery. If it did have reliable recovery, it would be great. Jirachi can be Calm Mind, it can be Scarf, it can be defensive, it can be Wish. The fact that it has Serene Grace instead of Synchronize, I think gives it an edge. And the second typing is really good for offensive purposes. Mono Psychic just isn't that great, but Steel Psychic is a lot better. Even if it's still, resisted by any steel type. But it just means, having the different options is great. And then Pokemon like Rotom Heat are very threatening to me, just because in general I don't deal well with fire types. He also has a lot of Will-O-Wisp users, which kind of worries me. He has 4, if I'm not mistaken, Fletchender, Rotom, Weezing, and Mismagius. But yeah, so let's just go ahead and hop on into our team and see what you guys think. So first off is Reuniclus. It's going to be Psyshock, Focus Blast, Calm Mind, Recover. I wanted to put Thunder Wave on this thing, but I decided that Focus Blast would be a good idea instead. And I'm also packing Toxic Spikes on this team. So I didn't want to have a sort of a conflict of interest, so to speak, between Reuniclus trying to land Thunder Waves, but the Pokemon instead gets hit with a Poison condition upon entry. So I ended up dumping Thunder Wave for Calm Mind, and I think Calm Mind also has the potential to be really good. Honestly though, if Reuniclus can just serve as a good check to Lopunny and something like Scarf, Jirachi, I'll be really happy. Just like the chip damage for Rocky Helmet's so nice. Even if we, losing that recoveries is unfortunate. Just being able to take fake outs and U-turns and stuff like that. And Iron Heads. Every time Jirachi hits us with an Iron Head, it has to take Rocky Helmet. That's what I really like. And so we're going fully Fizz-Deft to be a good answer to Scarfrachi and to Lopunny. And also because it combos well with Calm Mind. Next up we have Steelix, Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Heavy Slam, and Rock Slide. Especially defensive. I've pretty much brought this same EV spread every week. I've brought very similar movesets in every week. There's just really not much point in investing in defense. But this is a good check for things like Jirachi. It's also good for Florges. That's why I brought it with Spadef investment. And, it can sort of take on Umbreon. I think Umbreon will probably outstall us. But, it can't do anything back to us, really. I guess it can do a little, Foul Play can do a lot. But that's neither here nor there. It's also a good Tyrantrum check. It's funny, I'm having to fight Tyrantrum in back-to-back weeks, as well as Florges. And so Steelix takes on both of those once again. It can kind of take on things like Wheezing, but I'm a little bit worried about stuff like Wheezing because they could have Will-O-Wisp, and Steelix really doesn't want to deal with that if I can help it. And Rock Slide is there for Fletch Endure, although I'm worried about the same sort of thing. Like getting burned on this Steelix by a Fletch Endure would be pretty crappy, although I'm pretty sure that Rock Slide will still kill. So Steelix is there to take care of a couple of threats, set up rocks, and do what it's been doing all season, which is putting in the finest of work. Next up we have Nicola, Assault Vest with Thunderbolts, Volt Switch, Giga Drain, and Knockoff. Calm Nature with full Spadef investment. We put enough speed on this thing to outspeed a 0-speed Sandslash, because I want to be able to hit that thing up with Giga Drains and the like. And then full Spadef just to get the maximum amount of boost from our Assault Vest. And while that does like weaken us against physical attackers, I really need this thing to be able to take a hit from Manaphy if needed. If it's a +3 Tail Glow Manaphy, well, obviously if it's +3, it's probably Tail Glow. But if it's you know, like a max special attack Tail Glow Manaphy with leftovers, which is sort of the normal set, we take like around 55-60% from a Scald, and we can do a good bit of damage back with Thunderbolt. And yeah, so I don't need it to do a whole lot else this match besides get off like the most amount of damage. It is nice because this can also take a few hits from like a non-specs Rotom Heat, and things like Rachi can't do a ton to this with like a Scarf set. And yeah, again, I think it's just, you know, a nice pivot Pokemon in general. It can beat Sandslash. It would suck if Sandslash knocked off our Assault Vest. That's one thing I am worried about. But you know, depending upon what kind of damage it has, we can maybe land a Giga Drain on it. And a lot of Sandslashes are not specially defensive. They're like physically defensive, or they're offensive. So a Giga Drain might do a surprising amount. We'll have to see. I'll calc it in the match, and we'll see how it goes. Next up, we do have our Calamari, the Tentacruel, packing the Pyappa Berry once again, with Rapid Spin, T-Spike, Scald, and Mirror Coat. Tentacruel is nice because DPad doesn't deal that well with hazards. He just had a pretty rough game against the Bird, who brought Spikes and Toxic Spikes, and I think the Nidoqueen got like 3 passive kills in that game, which is pretty crazy. So we don't have Spikes on our team, but we do have Toxic Spikes, so maybe we can take advantage of that. There's a chance that he now over-prepares for hazards, but you know, I like to have it just in case. Even if I can only poison 1 or 2 Pokemon, I think it's worth it. Scald's nice because he only has 1 resist in Manaphy. And then Mirror Coat is a good choice because even if he is, with his spread, even if he's a +6 timid max attack Manaphy with leftovers, we live a Psychic with a Pyappa Berry, assuming we're at full. And then obviously if we're able to do that, the Mirror Coat is going to kill. And then we put just a little bit of defense investment in this thing in case we have to, you know, take like 1 return from a Lopunny or something like that. I really would like not to be in that situation, but you never know. But yeah, Tentacruel is another Manaphy check. Like, Manaphy is just a big threat to my team, because like a lot of my Pokemon are like good on balance, which Manaphy crushes, and then I don't have like the offense to out-offense his Lopunny. So we have to take a more balanced approach, but then we have to come up with like sort of gimmicky answers for Manaphy. And that's pretty much what this Tentacruel is. So those are 4 very defensive Pokemon. And as I said, you know, we've really built like a pretty balanced team at this point. So now we have to get a little bit of offense in here. So we have a pretty fun set. Choice Scarf, Volcarona, Fire Blast, Bug Buzz, Psychic, and U-Turn. I just want something that can outspeed Lopunny. And I don't have anything on my team that can do that naturally. I could have brought something like a Scarf Mence or something like that. But Scarf Volcarona just seems cool. It was a good suggestion by my friend the Bird. And you know, the fact that this does get U-Turn is very convenient. Because, you know, he can switch in like his Tyrantrum or his Rotom Heat, and we can just U-turn out into whatever needs to take that on, like Tentacruel against the Rotom Heat, which, by the way, the Rotom Heat does outspeed the the Tentacruel does outspeed the Rotom Heat with its spread. That's why we went Timid. And you know, Tyrantrum, if it wants to come in, you know, we can go into probably Steelix take that thing on. You know, and other than that, like, he has a couple of fire answers, like with Manaphy, and what's the other Pokemon? I can't remember. Fletchinder doesn't really count as a fire resist in my opinion. But yeah, you know, take advantage of that, and then if we get in a situation where late game Volcarona can clean up, that'd be great. And then last but not least, we are bringing a Life Orb Salamence. It's specially based, but it is mixed. Draco Meteor, Outrage, Fire Blast, and Iron Tail. He doesn't have great Dragon Resist on his team in general. He has just Jirachi and Florges. So Draco Meteor seems cool. You know, obviously, like, a physical attacking set would be really great. But, you know, the special set is just as good. And we do have a couple of physical moves. So, like, if we have a plus or -2 special attack drop from Draco Meteor, we can follow up with an Outrage and still do some damage. And then there's also, we can not worry so much about all of his Will-O-Wisp users with this set. Like, a Dragon Dance set would have been really cool, but it should be fine. But yeah, I think I mentioned, you know, his 2 switch-ins to Dragon or Jirachi and Florges, and so we have Fire Blast for Jirachi and Iron Tail for Florges. You know, we're not going to stay in on those Pokemon unless we are sure that we can kill them. Especially since, you know, there's a good chance that either of those moves miss. And I'd like not to have that happen. But if we're sure that we can OHKO them, it's worth the risk, in my opinion. If you're combining the chance to miss with a roll to kill, seems like a recipe for disaster. But yeah, that's the Ments, and that's going to be our other source of offense this week. And that's going to be the team. So the battle will be going up tomorrow, you guys. Should go up at 10 a.m., if I'm not mistaken. So I hope you do check back for that. It's going to be a really fun match. DPad is a really nice guy. One of the most helpful, just generally nice and thoughtful people in the PMC. And I really wish him the best. I'll feel bad because obviously I'm going to try and win. And, you know, I'm always going to be rooting for DPad in every other game, except when he goes against me. So I just hope that it's a good one, and that you guys enjoy. So, do want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check the match, and make sure you check back to my channel for more Pokemon content. And until the next time, I will see you guys later.